Throughout human history, it's woven into the rise and fall of empires and the glory of ancient civilizations, there exists a darker and more unsettling thread. It is the practice of inbreeding, a tradition that quietly shaped dynasties, altered bloodlines, and left lasting marks on history itself. From the gilded halls of European monarchies to the sun-scorched palaces of ancient Egypt, power often echoed alongside a dangerous belief in purity of blood. One of the most tragic examples emerges from Spain, the final heir of the mighty Habsburg dynasty. He was the result of generations of close family marriages, living embodiment of a lineage that valued preservation of power over biological consequence. Frail in body and unstable in health, he suffered from severe physical and mental ailments and was unable to produce an heir. With his death, the Spanish Habsburg line collapsed, triggering conflict across Europe and reminding the world that nature does not bend easily to political ambition. A similar story unfolded thousands of years earlier along the banks of the Nile. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt believed their rulers were divine, and to preserve this sacred status, royal families often married within their own bloodline. Brother married sister, father married daughter, all in an effort to keep power untouched by outsiders. Tutankhamun, the young king whose tomb would later astonish the modern world, was born from such a union. His fragile body, marked by deformities and chronic illness, reflected the hidden cost of this tradition. Though revered as a god-king, his short life revealed the biological price of divine blood. The motivations behind these practices were not born of ignorance alone. Rulers believed that marrying within the family secured loyalty, protected wealth, and prevented rival claims to the throne. Bloodlines were political tools, and inbreeding was seen as strategy rather than risk. Yet time and again, the consequences surfaced in the form of disease, infertility, and dynastic collapse. Europe's royal courts were no exception. The Habsburgs became infamous, not only for their vast empire, but also for a distinct physical trait that appeared repeatedly across generations. The protruding jaw that marked their portraits became a symbol of inherited weakness. What was once a sign of royal continuity slowly transformed into evidence of genetic decay. As heirs grew, weaker and infant mortality increased. The very practice meant to preserve power ensured its undoing. Inbreeding was not limited to royalty. In isolated communities around the world, geography and tradition often narrowed the pool of potential partners. On remote islands and in secluded valleys, marriages between relatives occurred out of necessity rather than ambition. Over generations, these communities experienced higher rates of rare genetic conditions, revealing how limited diversity can quietly reshape entire populations. As science advanced, humanity began to understand why these patterns emerged. The study of genetics uncovered a simple truth: diversity is strength. When closely related individuals reproduce, harmful recessive traits are more likely to surface. Conditions that might remain hidden for generations suddenly emerge with devastating clarity. What ancient rulers perceived as purity was, in reality, vulnerability. The natural world offers striking contrasts. In some animal species, inbreeding leads swiftly to decline, while others develop mechanisms to survive despite limited genetic variety. Conservationists have learned this lesson firsthand. When species such as the Florida panther faced extinction due to inbreeding, the introduction of new genetic lines revived populations and restored health. Nature, when allowed diversity, often finds a way to heal itself. In modern times, humanity stands on the threshold of unprecedented genetic understanding. Advances in genetic testing and counseling now allow individuals and communities to identify risks before they become tragedies. Knowledge has replaced superstition. Informed choice has begun to dismantle traditions rooted in fear and control rather than well-being. The laws of many societies reflect this shift, balancing personal freedom with public health. Education, rather than punishment, has proven to be one of the most powerful tools in reducing harmful practices. By understanding the past, communities can make choices that protect future generations. Even fiction has explored this theme, using stories of royal families and secret bloodlines to reflect real historical anxieties. These narratives resonate because they mirror truths written into human history, reminding us that power cannot override biology, and control cannot silence consequence. As we look back across centuries of ambition, belief, and tragedy, one lesson stands clear. Inbreeding promised stability but delivered fragility. It offered control but invited collapse. The true strength of humanity has never lain in purity, but in variation, cooperation, and adaptation. Every strand of DNA carries a story shaped by those who came before us. Today, with science as our guide, we hold the ability not only to understand those stories, but to choose how they continue. The past whispers its warnings, and if we listen carefully, it offers wisdom as well.